All right, guys. Fuller coming to you with another quick commentary. So, you know, I guess like in this society right now, in Western society, there's like a trend of, I want to say there's a trend of, I guess you can say older women who I guess want to show that they still got it. You know, back in the day, they were, I mean, very attractive women. They were highly desired women as well. They were very much desired, highly desired. Um, and, they probably had their fair share of, as Will and Jada like to call it, entanglements. So, some women that come to mind is you have Vita Guerra, who was I guess you can say a video model, and she was on, I think, I want to say, she was on, what was she on? Oh yeah, she was on like Latin American TV at first, and you know, um, eventually, like she became more or less irrelevant, and now she's pushing 50 something, and she has like a OnlyFans page at like pushing 50 something, and it's like, what, like you're nearly 50 years old, and like you have an OnlyFans page, like what's the problem? Like what's going on? She has no kids, so you know you have Maya. She please, everybody liked her back in the day. People loved Maya back in the day. What I mean? A lot of people were like, oh, Maya's so bomb. Things like that. You had that factor as well. Then you have Melissa Ford. She was another video vixen. And people found her very attractive. People wanted to be with her, stuff like that. I think she dated a football player, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like she dated a professional football player. I'm trying to remember. I think so. Yeah, I think it was like professional football player. So you have her as well, right? So, with that being said, right, the thing is that like these women, you know, they don't have any kids, and Vivica A. Fox, she's another one. They're older, no kids, single, but yet they still have to show that they still have to be validated. That's why Vita Guerra, she has her OnlyFans. That's why Maya kept herself relevant by marrying herself. We saw Vivica A. Fox's outburst with, saying that God didn't mean for me to have kids and stuff like that. We saw that as well. So we have another one to add to that list. Her name is AJ Johnson, and AJ Johnson, I want to say, she was in a few movies. She was in the movie House Party. Yeah, she was in that movie. Her most recent movie was Baby Boy with Tyrese. She played Tyrese's mother. Um, with that being said, right? With this being said, um, she has came out and told us something that shows that she wants validation. Now, we have to keep in mind of something. She keeps herself in great physical condition, right? Like she keeps herself in good physical shape, right? Um, Even for her age, she keeps herself. She looks after herself, right? Which is commendable. But at the same time, like no guy's gonna look at her and be like, okay, I want to marry her as my wife, you know? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she kind of has a history of swirling. Like she has a history of liking Chads. Like I believe that, at one time or another, she was Chad chasing a lot, you know, in her earlier years on the scene. But anyhow, um, this video was brought to my attention, and keep in mind, as I said before, I said this before, and I'll say it again. When you have women, when you have women and you have a group of women, right? When you have a group of women and they talk together, it's rare that they are talking about something productive. It's rare that they are talking about something uplifting. It's rare that they're talking about something like some kind of power moves. Like, okay, how can we buy this? How can we buy that? How can we build our credit up? How can we do this? How can we do that? It's rare. Usually, what it consists of is bashing men. That's one thing. And it consists of sex. So, this clip was sent to me on the Angela Yee show. So let's go into what Miss AJ Johnson did. And mind you, she's like 58 years old. So let's get into this.
Done that. It's very normal for like threesomes when it's two women and a man. But do you think we'll ever come to a place in society where it'll be like a threesome is two men and a woman?
So this is Angela Yee, lip service. And as you see, like, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but I mean, like, they say there's someone for everybody, but it gets to a point where if your reputation reputation is like known for being lewd, known for being promiscuous, known for being these things, then you kind of have to. You're not going to be able to have the someone that you desire. You're going to have someone that is on your level. It used to be a saying that water seeks its own level, but with the modern woman, it's like, I guess you can say, ground seeks higher level, right? But let's get into this.
And they'll be okay with that. No. What does that mean? I mean, for some men they do it, but again, it's just to them is a train. It's not a threesome.
And that's all it is. I mean, when you look at, for example, bukkake flicks, like, and mind you, I don't watch porn. I'm not a consumer of porn. I don't watch porn. You know what I mean? That's just something I don't do. But anyhow, like, I mean, when you really think about it, it I mean, that's what it is. It's not like a threesome because the difference between a man and the difference between two women and one man is that those two women are not being like penetrated versus you have two men and one woman, and then you guys are switching off, and one is doing penetration and the other is you know I'm trying to keep it PG as possible, but you guys are switching off.
But even
every
for
time-
women, a lot of women will never do that.
Yeah, when they ask me, they're like, would you do a threesome? I'm like, yeah, bring in, let me pick the guy. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I get so mad.
And see, here we go again with women trying to dictate things when and any guy with self-respect is not going to go for that. He's not going to be like, and again, I'm not encouraging this type of behavior. By no means am I trying to encourage this type of behavior. Okay, I'm not trying to encourage something like that. But the thing is this, like, if a guy wanted to have a threesome, then he probably already has a woman lined up that he wants to bring to the table for that threesome. He's not going to, he's not going to, how should I say it? He's not going to leave it up to the woman. He's not going to leave it up to the woman, right? He's going to take charge and be like, well, this is the woman that I would like to have the free threesome with. And let's continue on.
Let me pick the guy.
That. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Two
and
men?
two men.
Mm-hmm.
And they traded off. It was like they were friends, and they traded off.
So the thing we have to ask ourselves is this, though, like, and not that it matters. We have to ask ourselves, like, were those men like Chads, Pookies, or Ray Rays? And I think the chances are probably strong that they were Chads. Because she's initially been with Chads for the most time.
50th birthday ever.
Oh, yeah.
It off. It's the best 50th birthday ever.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they traded off. So it was never like them together.
Together, okay.
It was like they were flip flopping me. One would please me, then he'd pass me to the other.
So does this sound like a threesome, or does this sound like someone getting flipped? Like again, I hate to say it, and I'm going to say it again. For the most part, at least guys in my circle, we think before we speak. I don't even think sometimes. I think women speak before they think at times, because you see that she's saying, oh yeah, we traded off. Oh yeah, they traded off. They traded off. This doesn't even sound like a threesome. It sounds like it sounds like a bukkake flick. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like.
And one would kiss me, and then he'd spin me around for the other.
Did
It
that
was
feel
like
powerful?
a beautiful dance. Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
Wow.
It was
Tennis
like
match.
it was like doing salsa with two guys at the same time. Just like romantic and sexy,
Nice.
and never intertwined, but at the same time it was two.
So they were friends with each other.
They were friends,
Okay.
and I knew they were friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about that Coco Patron.
Oh, shit.
the purple
That
label.
coffee
Cafe
Patron.
Cafe.
That
Yes.
That cafe
No,
Patron.
I've had some wild nights on
Yes,
that
That
myself.
cafe Patron.
And you see all the women who are like talking, like, no disrespect to them, but if I were to see them on the street, I wouldn't bat a second eye. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like have a I wouldn't care, I wouldn't pay them no mind. So, so you see this, you see how, you see how women get together and what they talk about most of the time when they get together.
So wait, so the next day, how did they act to each other, or like afterward? Did they ever acknowledge it, or was it just a one thing and nobody ever discussed it?
No, we all went to breakfast, and
Mhm.
it was like three friends that hung out and had a good time.
So, I mean, obviously these guys were probably, I'm thinking these guys were Chads because she's usually like a Chad chaser. Um, Now the thing is though, like, I know for me personally, like, if I had that with a woman, yeah, I wouldn't like desire to go to breakfast with them afterwards. I would desire to keep it moving. Me personally, I'm just speaking for myself. So, the fact that these guys wanted to do that, I mean, you have to ask yourself, like how masculine were these guys? You know what I mean?
It's weird because it's not like I was into that, and I had never done it before.
It's a
But it was
birthday
a good
present.
time.
But it was happy birthday to me, and it was like, okay. And as it was happening, I was like, this is happening. Like, I was like, this is actually happening.
This
It's
is really
happening.
a real thing.
I kissed one nigga to me. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And then
Oh
I
my
just kind of
God.
relaxed and let it happen. And the next morning, we were like the Three Musketeers.
So, I mean, there you have it, guys. You know, and the moral of the story is this, and I'm going to end this commentary with this. The moral, the moral, the moral of the story is this: as as older, as a woman gets older and she's still like single, right? The higher her need to be validated gets. So she will get validation in many different ways. Some play the holistic goddess mode of thinking, right? And they try to erase themselves from their past of, the carousel. Some do the sexual liberation thing and they say, okay, well, only live once. So let me just go out and let loose. So certain people just have different ways of going about these things. Her way is, you know, staying on the carousel. I think right now she's 58 years old, still single, no kids. And I don't know, man. I guess, this trend is gonna keep on happening with these older women, Um, and and it's crazy that more Western women are ending up single and yeah. Um at this point, me personally, I don't think that relationships in the West are real. I think they're make believe for for the most part. For the most part, I think relationships in the West are make believe. I don't think they're true. I think a lot of them are make believe. I really haven't, and maybe because that's not what I go on social media for, but I really haven't seen any signs of like healthy relationships on social media. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyhow, man, that's all I got for now. Foolish signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Ojaram.